Every day you open your morning newspaper. Well, actually, nobody opens their morning newspaper anymore. Instead, you probably access your sports pages on your iPad, on your phone, or your PC. That's why circulation drops continually for every single paper in the nation. And what do you see? Stories about training camp for your favorite team. And you know what it all means? Absolutely nothing. Listen, if you want to read it as a fan, God bless you. Yeah, you got to read about those stories about that third string battle at cornerback for your team because it means so much. You're going to read those stories about those three guards competing for the backup job on the offensive line. But it all means nothing from a gambling perspective. Listen, guys, the NFL preseason means absolutely nothing either. For when it comes to the real games, the second week in September, that's when it all counts. All this stuff means nothing. You're going to hear handicappers talk about, oh, I followed all these teams right through the beginning of preseason, right through the beginning of training camps. Means absolutely nothing. So read it as a fan. Enjoy it as a fan. Make money in baseball instead. That's what means something, because this is the time, as I've been preaching to you for months now, this is the time you build your bankroll so you have money in your pocket to win money and to place money on games in September, in college, in the NFL. That isn't your money. No, it's the bookmaker's money that you've accumulated over the past few months. That's the purpose here. Now, NFL preseason, listen, there is money to be made. You've got to do a lot of research in the preseason, and you'll see the handicappers here at the site, myself included, come out with games. Now, nobody messes around with the fourth week of the preseason because, my God, these are guys that you can probably play pickup games with in the middle of September because they're going to be unemployed or they're going to be playing in the Canadian Football League. That's the bottom line. First week of the preseason, a little rough because, you know, the starters, if they're going to play at all, may only play a couple of snaps, maybe one series at the most. Second week, a little bit more, less predictable, shall we say. Third week is obviously the games where you're going to see your starters play the most. There is some money to be made in the preseason, and you'll see that in August. But again, from a fan's perspective, read every story you want, but don't think you're going to learn anything about what you're going to do in terms of gleaning information that's going to make you a more successful bettor come September. Okay, let's talk about baseball. Last night, I told you that Yankees line was a trap. I thought that Tanaka, even though he had tremendous success on the road, that there was a reason the Astros were favored last night at home despite losing the first two games in that series, and they delivered the win as the free pick. I've got a couple of complimentary plays for you here on tonight's card. First of all, Texas and Kansas City. I'm looking at the over-under price in this game, and it is sitting at 9. And I think you've got to play the under. Now, the two pitchers tonight, Cole Hamels for the Rangers and the head case, Giordano Ventura for the Royals, they just met up last Saturday in Kansas City, a game that Texas won 7-4. Hamels pitched okay in that particular game, allowed 1 run and 5 hits and 5 in the third innings pitch. Ventura was cruising along. I think it was 4 scoreless innings until he served up a 2-run homer in the 5th, left the game in 5 innings of work, 3 runs, 3 hits allowed, struggled with his control as he has all season long with 4 walks in that contest. But I still like the under in this game because you've got a Rangers team that hasn't been putting it together offensively here of late, a team that has watched a 10-game lead at one time they enjoyed in the American League West slowly fritter away, a team that has lost, 17 of its last 24 games. You got a Royals team that has struggled offensively all season long, but especially on the road where they are just 17-32 on the season. I just don't see more than 7 or 8 runs being scored in this game. I mean, I can see this being a 5-1 Rangers win. Now, I'm not willing to bet the Rangers on the run line in this game because of their offensive issues here, but I am willing to go ahead and bet on Hamels being in control and the Rangers eking out just enough runs and Kansas City doing nothing offensively for this one to stay under the posted price. 9 runs at -110. Yeah, I am on that one. So I'll go with Kansas City and Texas to stay under the posted total. That's your one free play. Interesting game. Chris Sale making his return to the White Sox. Listen, interesting for me because his last scheduled start, I had a 15-time best bet on him on Saturday. And, of course, when he went a little crazy and cut up the uniforms, he got suspended for that game. And 5 days thereafter, he makes his return to the Hill tonight at Wrigley Field against the Cubbies, who managed to win last night 8-1 after losing the first two games of the series, which were played on the south side on the White Sox field at Cellular Field. It's so tempting to say Comiskey instead of Cellular Field when you're talking about the White Sox. Listen, Chris Sale is certainly rested. He also is potentially on the trading block, depending on who you believe, right? Well rested because the last time he pitched was July 18th when he carried a no-hitter into the eighth inning at Seattle, left after giving up just one hit in 8 shutout innings. He is 7-1 in 10 road starts this year, with a 2.08 earned run average. And if you break those numbers down even further, he has pitched 72 2/3 innings in those road starts. He's only allowed 51 hits. Of those 51 hits, only 4 homers, okay? He's only walked 16 batters and he struck out 68 in those innings. Now, John Lackey got off to a great start for the Cubbies, but he has really struggled here of late. His last 7 starts, the Cubs have lost 6 of those 7 starts. In that stretch, his earned run average is 6.12. He's 0-4 personally in his last 6 starts. Now, the White Sox had won 4 straight, starting with the game that Sale was suspended for on Saturday night, which was continued on Sunday when they beat the Tigers, and then won Sunday's regularly scheduled game and the first 2 games here against the Cubbies. Listen, the Cubs won last night 8-1, okay? But they're just 9-14 in their last 23 games overall. Sale may be a head case, okay? Whatever you may think about him, hey, who knows? But the one thing, he is a team leader. This is a guy the White Sox as a team really respect. This is a guy who they rally around. And this is a guy who I can take tonight at plus $1.20, and whose numbers on the road I just gave you are simply phenomenal. I've got to take the White Sox here and take a shot with them as the road dog against the Cubbies tonight in this series. So again, the White Sox plus $1.20 with Chris Sale on the hill. That is going to be your other complimentary play, along with the Rangers and Kansas City to stay under the posted price. That'll do it for today's complimentary plays in your video report. I wish you well, guys. I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.